We all know Salahuddin, the warrior whose name echoes through history, celebrated not only for his victories but also for his humanity and chivalry. But what if I told you that just decades before his birth, the Islamic world was on the verge of total collapse? Only 50 years before Salahuddin was born, the Muslim world was in shambles. Internally, it suffered from severe economic crises, social disarray, and sectarian divisions. Externally, it faced relentless attacks from crusaders who exploited every weakness. The Islamic world, once a beacon of unity, was fragmented, vulnerable, and struggling to survive. And yet, amidst this turmoil, the wealthy thrived. They lived in extravagance, indulging in luxuries that seem almost unbelievable. Lavish mansions overflowed with servants, wardrobes boasted the finest silks, and weddings rivaled royal coronations. Historians write that in the summer, blocks of ice were transported from Lebanon's mountains insulated with wool and fabric to cool their drinks in the blistering heat, while the common people struggled to afford bread. But this indulgence came at a steep cost. Basic commodities like wheat became outrageously expensive, inflation spiraled out of control, and essentials, pomegranates and turnips, were sold at prices unimaginable for ordinary people. Historians like Ibn Kathir documented how this economic imbalance drove society to the brink. Across the Muslim world, personal luxury took precedence over public welfare. The gap between rich and poor widened, and corruption fueled the flames. Officials lined their pockets with bribes, exploiting the people they were supposed to serve. The ideals of justice and equality, once the pillars of Islamic governance, were forgotten. Even faith itself began to lose its depth. While many Muslims remained devout, historians observed a growing trend of disconnect between ritual acts and their spiritual essence. Prayer, fasting, and Hajj were reduced to motions, hollow rituals devoid of meaning for far too many. Abu Shama al-Maqdisi described this moral decay in stark terms, likening society to the days of Jahiliyyah. Their only concerns were their stomachs and desires. They could not recognize goodness to spread it, nor identify evil to stop it. To make matters worse, the political landscape crumbled. After Sultan Malik Shah's death in 1092 CE, the once mighty Seljuk Empire shattered into rival kingdoms, plunging the region into internal conflicts. Crusaders seized the opportunity. In 1099, they captured Jerusalem in a bloodbath, massacring nearly every inhabitant. The devastation didn't stop there. Crusaders occupied Palestine and the Syrian coast, and some Muslims, driven by self-interest, allied with them. Factions like the Fatimids aligned with the Crusaders, hoping to consolidate power against their Sunni rivals. This betrayal created an even greater challenge for reformers, who had to face enemies both outside and within. As the Fatimids and Ismailis capitalized on the Crusaders' victories, the unity of the Muslims seemed like a distant dream. The result? An Islamic world fractured, morally adrift, and teetering on the edge of destruction. And yet, this was not the end. From this chaos emerged the golden generation, the likes of Salahuddin and his legendary generals, leaders whose deeds inspired both East and West. But how? How did a shattered society transform into one of history's greatest revivals? What sparked the deep internal change that turned despair into strength? Stay tuned as we delve into the extraordinary journey that forged the generation of Salahuddin, a story that is often misunderstood but is one of incredible rediscovery.